So apparently they think I'm made of money. I was just notified that I have to spend $100,000 to continue to live here, off grid, in this little tiny house. Well, I'm going to kind of lead up into that as I get into this video. As many of you will know that's been following me for a while, we was working 60, 70, sometimes at 90 hours a week. What we did was we decided we were going to get debt free. I just got out of marriage. It was left with $50,000 in debt. So we got debt free, saved up a bunch of money, and we decided, you know what, we're going to minimize our life. Minimize what we eat, minimize what we buy, minimize everything, minimize what we live in. So we decided we were going to travel the country, and we stayed in national forest, and we saved a significant amount more money while we were doing that. I was self-employed and I was making YouTube videos. After a while we realized that just wasn't the life for us. But we liked portions of it. We liked living minimalistically. We liked living off grid, not tied to anybody. So we decided, you know what, we're gonna buy a piece of property and build ourselves a little tiny house, live off grid. So Carolyn started looking for a piece of property. We found a few, and this one was really nice. It's an acre and a half, and it's not near as big as what people think it should be. And one of the downsides to it, and everybody thinks that I don't live off grid because of this, is we got power lines here, but that power lines really make things pretty nice when it came to the cost of the property, because we had to keep an easement, so we can't build on it. It reduced the price of the property. And it had an old well on it, probably dug in the 60s. I had to repair it, make it work, and we finally got that thing running. And I don't know, I don't think I spent over $500 on that. A well would probably cost you $10,000, 5 to 10, and we got it for $500. And of course we built the tiny house. We spent $5,000 on a tiny house. Now we had to build that during the pandemic, so prices were going through the roof. So we didn't get everything new. Like the windows, they're all used. And the OSB plywood, we got that used. Just a lot of different materials we found on Facebook Marketplace. And that's where Carolyn gets most everything. It's Facebook Marketplace. That's how she found the property. A lot of this I didn't know how to do. I didn't know how to build a tiny house, but between people I know and Google and YouTube, I figured it out. And I'm really proud of that. And the well, I didn't know anything about the well. Oh man, that was a nightmare. And I've had problems with it and just all kinds of things, but I finally got it all worked out. So we've learned how to really minimize our lives. That means that I don't have to go to work for an employer. I got a YouTube channel and it's providing us with an income enough to live. And our life just doesn't take that much money. Our truck, it's paid for, so we got to pay for insurance and gasoline. Groceries, even though we don't have to buy groceries, because we got the chickens now, we still go and get about once a month, go get about 30 days worth of meat. We spend about $200 a month on groceries. Life is simple, life is easy, and I like it that way. Well, as you know, on Thanksgiving Day, we had dogs get into our chicken coop. Now we used to have a window here. We had two windows actually. They busted through the window. Now I had this triple layered. I had a piece of plexiglass, well, not plexiglass, it's the same material that I use for the roof of our porch. You can buy this at Home Depot in the roofing department. And then I had hardware cloth, which should keep out anything. And then I had some chicken wire. And so it was 3 layers. Time we thought it was a coyote that got through the window and killed 9 chickens. We decided, let's get rid of the window. Even though the subscribers are gonna hate me for it, we got rid of the window. And for $10, we got a piece of metal and put it back over it. And now we have a permanent solution, I think. I don't think anything's gonna get through that. I mean, I built it this way originally, so nothing's gonna get through it. A bear maybe. Beyond that, I doubt it. A few days later, maybe 5 days later, we found out what it really was. It was a dog, pit bull. Now we've had problems with this pit bull about a year ago. The pit bull at that day was not able to get in. We fenced this chicken run. So at night, the chickens go into the coop and I close the door and nothing can get into the coop. So the only thing I have to worry about with the chicken run is during the day. Well, this chicken run, nothing has gotten into the chicken run ever. This is triple layered. So we got hardware cloth, then we have field fence. I forget what that's actually called. I don't remember, but that's like 14 gauge or 16 gauge. And then we got chicken wire. This has kept out foxes and bobcats. I saw a bobcat, it stood right here, right at this spot, and could not figure out how to get in. I'm pretty happy with this. This has worked out really well. But this is what the subscribers are most concerned about, is this right here. And we've just never had any problems with it. We've actually not had any problems, really, to mention anything. I mean, before I realized I needed hardware cloth, we had a possum reach through the chicken wire and grab a wing of a meat bird we had and pulled its wing off. Only predator that we've had problems with up till this dog. And the dog got through the chicken coop, the metal chicken coop, not the chicken run. So for $10, I have now resolved my dog problem. Now, a lot of people say that I need to sue the person with the dog. The problem is I have no evidence that the dog was what was in there. We used to have a trail cam, but it stopped working for whatever reason. So I made a video and I talked about this dog and how I'm not going to invest any money in resolving the dog problem. I've resolved the dog problem. I put $10 of metal there. And that takes care of the dog problem. I'll never have another dog problem. The thing I always struggle with is why spend $1 million on a $5 problem? And I get this in the comment section all the time, and it drives me kind of crazy, to be honest. I'm trying to teach a minimalistic lifestyle where we don't spend money, where we don't have to have a job or have a great inheritance. I don't have any of those things. So I got to learn how to do with less. And then there's the other aspect of things where, what if SHTF were to happen and a dog got into this? I would have to figure out how to resolve the problem without spending money, because you can't go anywhere to buy anything. But within 2 days, I had enough comments telling me to spend money that it added up to $100,000. So I got to thinking about this. What did we really lose? Well, we lost about $550 is what we lost. We figured it up how many eggs we would get out of those chickens. Now, those chickens were older chickens. They only had about a year left, and we were going to butcher them anyways. So we figured out the egg cost and all that. Came up to $550. That's what we would have, how much money they would have produced throughout their lifetime. But in the meantime, I have to spend $100,000 to protect that $550 investment. And I just never have understood that. I mean, people were telling me, of course, get a trail cam, get a donkey. I had to get a donkey because donkeys are good protectors around the house. Well, I can't even imagine, how would I put a donkey here? Of course, I got to get a 6-foot chain link fence. Well, I know that's expensive. So I priced around how much it would cost to chain link fence, 1.5 acres. And the list just went on. Dog. I even said in the video that I wasn't going to buy anything to protect. For example, like a dog. I wasn't going to buy a dog or get a dog and train the dog, because I would have to feed the dog. So let's say the dog costs $20 a week, and I don't even get $20 of eggs a week. So now I'm paying more to feed something, to protect something that doesn't add up to 20 bucks. And the thing is I know people think this way. I'm going to try to save money by raising chickens and spend more than what the chickens are going to save me. I always come back to this property. When we moved here, this place was overgrown. I mean, it looked, the whole yard, everything looked like this right here. Everything was overgrown. It had the sticky bushes. It was miserable. We tried to get the camper down here and scratched up the truck, trying to get it down here, trying to figure out how to knock all these weeds down. But you had to remember, there was fence laying all over the yard, just laying on the ground. It was everywhere. Big, huge rocks. I was trying to figure out how to cut all the grass without, tearing up a big piece of equipment. So, although the handle's been busted, we used it so much, We bought one of these sickle blades. This is actually our second one. We broke 2 handles, and those were $20 a piece. And we knocked down all the weeds in this entire yard. It took 2 or 3 weeks to do it, but it wasn't too bad. But everybody told us either we had to buy a riding mower, which we didn't buy a riding mower until we got this yard cleaned up. We would have destroyed a riding mower. I don't even replace the blades on this because I'm constantly hitting rocks in this yard. The yard is an absolute disaster. So it would have just tore up a mower, especially with all that wire. And even after I got it all cleaned up, I was cleaning up this area over here with the riding mower, not cleaning, I was mowing. And I hit a piece of wire and wrapped it up all over that lawnmower. No, it wasn't a good idea to buy a lawnmower. We'd have just had to replace it. I was told I had to hire someone to come out here and brush hog it. I was told to buy a brush hog, an actual tractor. And then we built the tiny house. Once we started building it, the very first comment that I got when I started the build, oh, I just save yourself all that hard work and get yourself a mobile home. So we've spent $5,000 on this, as I said. A mobile home would have been $30,000, $40,000. How was building the tiny house over 6 or 9 months too much work? If I'd had to pay for $30,000 or $40,000, I'd still be paying on it. I'd still be working to pay. So I don't even understand the mindset. Save yourself all that work. I'd have been working the rest of my life to pay for that. When I bought the property and said I was wanting to live off grid with a wood stove, nope, can't do it. And I get this in the comment section all the time. Gotta have 20 acres, 10 at least, 10 to 20 acres, or you're not gonna have enough firewood to heat your home. I've not cut one tree down, not one healthy tree. I've cut 2 or 3, I call them twins. Like you get 2 trees growing out of one stump. I always cut one of those down because it's not healthy for both the trees. I've got 15 years worth of firewood here, 15 cords of firewood. And I, like I said, didn't cut hardly anything from the property. Facebook Marketplace gives it away, just gives it away constantly. But I am supposed to go out and buy 10 acres. So within 2 days, people had me spend $100,000 so I could live here to feed my chickens that are worth $550. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was talking about a major company tried to shut us down. So if I can inspire you to think minimalistically so you can actually live your dreams. Thanks for watching.